Hi, this is Natalia from ASVab Success, and it's Friday. So that means today we're going to go over the questions I posted this week in our ASVab group, okay? So remember, we do this every Friday. First question says, the length of a rectangle is 8 inches more than twice its width. If the perimeter of the rectangle is 58 inches, what is the width of the rectangle? So with this one, this has to do with perimeter, right? We know because it says it here. And it's actually an algebra question. And we know that because it's giving us all this like twice it's something, more than something, that means we're going to write some kind of equation to help us solve for this. So what equation are we going to use? We're actually going to use our perimeter equation, okay? So first, let's start with the first sentence. The length of a rectangle is, so length is 8 inches more. Remember, we do plus 8, twice its width. So 2 times the width plus 8. That's our first equation. Second one is if the perimeter, that means I'm going to do equation for perimeter. What is the equation for perimeter? 2 times length plus 2 times the width equals perimeter. It says the perimeter is 58 inches. So we're going to do equals 58. Okay? Now, I have my two equations. Remember that when we do with these algebra word problems is that we want to get them into one equation. So I'm going to use substitution. Wherever I see an L in this equation, I'm going to replace it with 2w plus 8. So I'm going to do 2 times 2w plus 8. What I did was replace the L. Okay? And I keep going with the rest of the equation. Plus 2w equals 58. Now I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to multiply or distribute this to each one. So 2 times 2w, 4w. 2 times 8, 16. Plus 2w equals, 58. So I'm going to combine like terms, 4w plus 2w. Doing so simplifies this even more. I'm going to move this 16 to the other side. And I'm going to get 6w equals 58 minus 16. I get 2, 4, 42. I'm going to divide by 6 to get the w by itself. And I get w equals 42 divided by 6 is 7. Now, I found the width. Let's go back to the question and see what is the question asking me for. It's asking me for the width of the rectangle. Perfect. So that is the answer. I don't have to do anything else. Okay? Remember, whenever we come to an answer, we think it's an answer, or we finish doing some math, go back to the question and make sure that that is the actual answer. Okay? All right, let's keep going. If you have any questions, remember you can leave a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to help you. And I just want to remind you that we do this 3 times a week with our course students. So we have these detailed reviews with our students, and we do extra practice, okay? So if you want to know more about that, just let me know. So next question says, if x equals 3, what is the value of absolute value x minus 7? So these straight lines like this mean absolute value. That means that everything inside of those lines, no matter what it is, will become positive. So what we do in this scenario is we replace the x with 3. So I'm going to rewrite this. 3 minus 7, absolute value sign. So 3 minus 7 is negative 4. But because it has the absolute value signs, it becomes positive 4. So our answer is just positive 4. Okay? So this one is easy. It's just knowing what those absolute value signs mean. Okay? So keep an eye out for that. All right, let's keep going. Next question says, the sum of two numbers is 44. If one number is 2 more than twice the other, what is the difference between the two numbers? If you're noticing a pattern this whole month, I've been putting algebra word problem questions for you guys because I want you to get exposed to them and get good at them. So if you hate them, I'm so sorry. Next month we'll do something different, I promise. Okay, so sum of the two, x plus y. We're just going to pick two variables that, to represent the unknown numbers. X plus y is 44. So that sum of two unknowns is 44. Next one. One number is, so x is, I can choose whichever one of the two, okay? 2 more than, so plus 2, twice the other one. So 2y plus 2. The question is, what is the difference between the two numbers? So let's first solve for these two, okay? Because it's asking us for the difference, which means we'll have to subtract them. But first, let's solve for each of them. Here, once again, we can do substitution. Wherever I see x here, I can replace it with 2y plus 2. So I'm going to rewrite this one. 2y plus 2 plus y equals 44. 2y plus y gives me 3y plus 2 equals 44. So I'm simplifying it. Now I'm getting rid of that 2. And the reason I do that is because I want to get the variable alone on one side of the equation. This 3 is multiplied, so I do the opposite. I divide by 3. 42 divided by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time. 3 goes into 12 4 times. So y equals 14. Okay? Now that I have that, I go back to my original equations, which are messy, so I'm going to rewrite them. X plus y equals 44. X equals 2y plus 2. So I can use either one of these equations to solve for y. To solve for x. So I'm going to use this one because it's just already in x equals format. So I'm going to plug in here where I see y, I'm going to plug in 14 because I now know what y is. So x equals 28, because 2 times 14 is 28, plus 2, and I get x equals 30. Okay, so now I know the two numbers. Remember, we go back to the question. It says, what is the difference between the two numbers? Well, 30 minus 14 is how we find the difference, and that gives us 16. So the answer here is B. This was a challenging question, so if you got it right, good for you. I'm glad. That means you're improving and you're getting it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll be more than happy to help. Okay. All right, here we go. Last question. It says, in a regular hexagon, all the angles are equal and one of them is 120 degrees. What is the sum of all the angles of the regular hexagon? So the question here really is, if all of them are the same and one of them is 120, which means all of them are 120, what is the sum of all of them? Well, you have to know how many angles a hexagon has. And a hexagon has 6 angles, okay? So basically, we're going to do 120 6 times. But in reality, what we're going to do is 120 times 6, okay? So that gives me 0, 12, carry the 1, 720 degrees. And there we go. So with this one, you just really have to know how many sides this shape has. A good idea, if you don't remember this stuff from geometry class, a good idea is to make a list of the shapes and just write the sides and the angles for them. I think that could be helpful for you. Okay, that is it. I hope that was helpful. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always leave a comment below. And if you're interested in doing this more often with us, let me know and you can join our study group. Otherwise, good luck as you continue to study for the ASVab.